It is the first day of your work, and your manager just came in and said, "Hey, welcome. I have something special for you." And you are like, "Oh God." So, and your manager says that, you know what, we need a server and we are going to install a mail services on it, and I want you to just find me something, but I want you to just provide me some details on how you actually pick that server, correct? So in this lab, you will learn how to actually find a perfect server based on your needs. So whenever you start working, just make sure that you buy a server that is always going to meet your expectations, right? Always buy something where it is not like too low and it is not too high. Because if it's too high, you're paying a lot for nothing. If it's too low, it's going to create a lot of problems and you will have to actually upgrade, or you will have to actually buy another server. So this lab is for you, where you have to find a file server, but I will find a server for Exchange server. So let's see how we can do that. Google is going to be your best friend. So very first thing that I will do is, okay, what kind of operating system I'm going to install? I'm going to install Server 2019. Okay, so all operating systems, they do have their system requirements. So simply by Googling, you will see that you will get different links, and when you click on the link, it will actually tell you, for example, processor, and the minimum requirement is 1.4 gigahertz, and it should be compatible with x64, right? When it comes to RAM, 512 MB, 2 GB for server with graphic user interface. And then you can actually read the other details, and then you have like a storage controller and disk space requirement. Minimum is 32 GB. Network adapter is needed, and you can see it should be compliant, like minimum it should be compliant with PCI Express. Not a lot of actually high requirements that you see in here. So one question that I will ask you here, are you gonna go with 2 GB here? And are you gonna go with 32 GB of storage? Maybe not, because the data that you are going to store on it, it is always going to be more than that, right? If I'm using Exchange server and then I have like 100 users, every day they are sending, receiving emails, and then when they send and receive emails, those emails are actually stored with their attachment in in an email server that you will actually buy. So always make sure that you plan in a way that you keep all those aspects in mind. So if I am just saying, oh, really? The server 2019 only requires 32 GB. Okay, I'll go with 100 GB. That's the first mistake you make, because you're not considering what are you going to store on it. Are you going to use it as a file server? And if it's going to be used as a file server, how many users you have, how much data they're going to store, like each day. So you have to consider all those things. And then when it comes to processor, again, what are you going to install on it, correct? So now this is what I am going to install, and I got the requirements. Okay, now the operating system is installed. It's now time to use the services. Okay, I'm going to use mail services. So on the mail services, again, Google is your best friend. And Exchange Server 2019 is what I'm going to install. And in here, when you click, you can simply see different requirements, which is hardware requirement. So processor is here, and then memory for mailbox, you need minimum 128 GB is recommended. All right. So what are you doing now? You're no longer gonna use 2 GB. You will have to add this thing up, right? Because it is really important. 128 GB. So if I have like 100 users, I will go more than 128 GB because it's the minimum. I'll just double it if I can. Um, has large memories up to 256. I'll go like 200. I'll go 256 if I can, if I have budget. Again, it all depends. Like if I only have like 10, 15 users who will only use it, it's okay. Then I can use like 150, 160 GB. Just to, it's always good to make it more than that because you have your operating system too, right? So you have to add that too. You can't just say 128 GB, good to go. No, that's not good to go because you have other services running too. So it's always good that you add both services requirement, and then once you sum it, that's the time when you add like extra 10 GB. It is always a good practice. At least 30 GB. 30 GB is minimum requirement, but again, this is not enough. If you have like 100 users every day, if they're using 1 MB, it's 100 MB, and then in a year how much it's gonna be. You have to count all those things, and then file system should be NTFS. This is what everyone actually use these days, and you can see that we have different other requirements in here. All right, so now we are using this information to purchase a server. Okay, so what I will do is I will actually go to Dell.com, and your um, lab is HP, so your assignment is HP. So make sure you buy an HP server, and then um, just send me a message in the discussion board, or you can send me an email. I will just check like what server did you choose. So when I click on Dell.com, this is a one of the vendors, like top vendors where you can purchase laptops, computers, and many other things. So you can see you have different products, and then when I click on products, I have laptop, desktop, and then we are looking for server here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look for servers and data center and data center servers. All right, so once it just loads up, you can see that rack servers is something which you can actually install in a rack, and tower servers are like desktop, which you can put at the top of a desk that you got, or anything else. So let's look at the rack, because a lot of offices, what they do is they actually use um, racks. So once I click there, you can see that these are real servers that you will see in real life. So this is the real picture that you got. So you can see PowerEdge rack servers, and then when I scroll down, I am going to be able to actually buy these. So it says cushion, call, and um, and then I can, oh, here you go. So you can see that I have got like PowerEdge R240 starting from 589, 666. These are different models that you will get. So different models have like this different aspects, and they have different like specifications. So if I click on this one, because I know that I might need something like this, because I have requirement where I'm going to install the Exchange server, and when you click on product details, it will simply give you a lot of information about the product. So what are we looking here is we are looking at the tech specifications, where it simply tells you how much RAM, processor, and other thing. So up to you can install up to 2666. It's like more than GB, way more than GB, and it is the speed that you get from this DIMM, and then memory module slot is 16 DDR4, and then maximum that it support is 512 GB. So this is what we can actually use. So simply, when I come here, I can see storage controller. I can see that what operating systems are supported. You can see server 2012, 2016, and I'm sure 2019 is also supported here. And you can also see the storage details, and again, what else are we looking for? So for us, it was important to know how much RAM I can install, and another thing was the processor. So it supports up to 32 cores, which is good enough for me. And um, another thing that was important for us was storage. So you can look at the storage specifications here too. And finally, this is actually going to meet our requirements. But one thing to remember in here is that if you want to use up to, for example, 512 GB of RAM, you will have to actually add it there. You will have to add all those in there. It's not gonna come by default, because if they are coming by default, what is happening is that you are paying more than that. It's not just 1800 for a server that comes with 512 GB. All right, so now, once you choose the server, you can simply start to make a comparison with the system requirements. And once you make the system requirements, you can just get these technical details and then put it in a Excel spreadsheet, and then create a report and then show it to your manager. And in the first day, your manager will be very impressed with your work, and he will be really happy. So that's how you can find a server, and by making sure that it meets your requirement and expectation.